Good morning. This is an Elliott Wave intraday update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 being recorded on Tuesday, August the 19th at 8:45 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Well, I think the market's kind of made it clear, at least to me. I'm going to go out on a limb and basically put back into place, starting here with the S&P. I'm on the hourly chart. I'm putting back in place that sub-subminuet wave 5, the sub-minuet wave C, and the minuet wave B back in place at the highs on the 14th at 6508.75 here in the ES. And from that level, I believe it's not an easy count, but I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and now doing a 5, and we had somewhat of just a channel kind of building in here, and the 5 should be an ABC, but it definitely just slid through a lot. And what it slid through, and we could start again from that top. So it got up to a high today at 64.53. So we had no problems with any upside challenges. So what we did get is an initial break below 64.66, which was the volatility trigger. So that was the first thing. We kind of broke that, and then we slid hard. And what we then came down to is 64.56, which was the put wall. Then we slid through that, and it brought another round of selling. And then we came down, and we look like we're going to go test large gamma 4, which is at 64.21 ES, 6400 in the SPX. So just to kind of put those two levels together, the two markets together. We went through 64.45 in the SPX, 64.66 here in the ES. That's the volatility trigger. 64.35 SPX, 64.56 ES put wall. 64.11, 64.32 zero gamma, which we tried to get down to. So that is below today's low. Today's low is 64.38, I believe, which actually was support. 39 was the low, 38 is support. But I think it can be broken as the market then goes down to the next level at 64.27. So again, 64.21, 64.32 I think will be broken. 64.21, large gamma 4 may be tested, but I think with that support at 27 should be able to hold up. A break would really put that 64.21 into the sights of the sellers, and they might go down there and test it. They might even break it. If it breaks, then that 6400 here in the ES is going to kind of start to show up if we break large gamma 4, because the only thing we have after that is large gamma 1, which is at 6,000 in the SPX, 6,021 in the ES. So we're really kind of shifting through or breaking quickly through a lot of gamma levels. And that is what's really kind of fueling this selling a little bit harder. And even with the Dow starting out pretty strong, now even the Dow is starting to come back off again. Now, supporting the rally, we have Apple holding higher. We have Intel and IBM both moving higher. So those are supporting the Dow. Basically, IBM and Intel, and that's really about it. Let me see if I can get this up a little higher. Okay. Anything else? We had Tesla go up, and now Tesla is battling just to get back to unchanged. But everything else is starting to really kind of hit the skids. And so SPX heading for, believe it or not, 64.11. And that's going to be zero gamma. And that's where the whole, it's not support, it's not resistance, it's just where gamma turns from, or starts to slide from positive back over to negative. In this case. because we're going to be breaking it to the downside. But I don't really see anything kind of perking up to save the markets today. It did early, but then that just got sliced and diced. So it's right now pretty much Apple by itself. And for the Dow and the S&P, it's IBM and Intel. And so anytime we get a little bit of a pop in one of the stocks, whether it's just back to neutral or just back to, slightly higher, the market reacts. And so it's kind of what I mentioned this morning. I think the moves are very violent. In other words, they're coming through. And again, just to touch on it, this is the month of August, and it has been brought up by a couple of people leaving comments. It is August, notoriously the slowest month of the year. So we have very light volumes. And when the volumes are light and you got a lot to sell, as we go through these gamma levels, we got a lot to sell. It just forces a lot of additional adjusting. You're selling into a thin market, and that just creates a little bit of havoc. And we just dropped very quickly. I mean, we really dropped quickly. We rallied hard, and then we sold off very hard. So again, I'm bringing it down to the 15-minute chart so we can kind of take a look inside there. It has not been easy. This is still a 3. That's a 3. This is an A, B, C is a 3. This is a 3. So I'm kind of looking like this should be a 3 as well. We got down there, we got up, we can come back down. And that suggests that we may break 38 and we may get down to 27 before it's all done, or maybe even 6,400. We're going to have that gamma support at 21 right there, and then at 6,400 in the SPX. I'm kind of thinking right now that that should hold. If it starts to break, we could really begin to slide. And again, it fits the pattern that I'm now working and that I've been discussing, and that is that the C wave down. C waves can be quick, they can be nasty, they can be really difficult. And so it's meeting all those expectations pretty quickly. So again, just hang on to your hats. Again, it's a fourth wave. It's a C wave as a part of the minute 4. So when this is done, I'm expecting everything to turn again and just be rosy and clean. And that may happen on Friday when we hear from Powell. As he speaks at Jackson Hole. First of all, they were all thinking the market was just going to sit still. But if you heard me this morning, I said it's only going to sit still as long as it doesn't break any of the gamma levels. If we start to break through those, like the volatility trigger, and we start to break through the large gamma too, it's like, look out, we're going to go down. And that's what we've done. Now, starting out with the daily, I just want to take a look at our moving averages. You can see, I mean, it's really not doing much other than the 20 is now going flat. The 8 is now going flat. The 50 is still angling higher along with the 200. So again, not really registering what's going on. If we bring it down to the hourly chart and open it up, we are still, it's the 8, and there is the 20, and there's the 50. They all need to get below the 200, which right now is at 64.46. So we are below that. So I think if we start to, when we hold rather than just slice through it, we might just find our low and come back up. And when it's done, this is what I'm going to label wave 1. So wave 1 of minuet. So it's going to be sub minuet wave 1 of minuet C. That's my take. All right, let's go over and take a look at the NASDAQ. It is also very interesting. The NASDAQ kicked us off this morning, and it just got real ugly real fast. And initially, it was like running it higher, and then it just got caught up in itself, and they hit it, and they hit it hard, and it just started to drop. Now, here as well, what we have seen, particularly in the Qs, as I mentioned this morning, and I wrote about it, the Qs, the zero gamma, and the volatility trigger are at 576, with large gamma 2 sitting just below at 575. Large gamma 4 sits at 570. The market has been it's now trading at 571. So what's up in the crosshairs right now is large gamma 4, which is at 570. If it breaks there, 565 is the put wall. These are in the Qs. So the NASDAQ is getting hit the hardest with the Nasdaq down 235, the S&P down 26, and the Dow struggling to keep into positive territory. The Russell also down 15, which is fair. But it is the tech stocks getting hit again. And they're going to be like, we have AMET getting smacked. We have NVIDIA getting smacked ahead of earnings, a week from tomorrow, ahead of earnings, that they're now pushing it in the other direction, which I think is nothing more than just adjusting. They adjust positions and they kind of put things together to go along with where the markets are. Tesla again, which was up and now down. So those are continuing to just play out. But more importantly, I'm keeping an eye on the fact that I think the market, let me go down the 15-minute chart. I think the market has one more leg down. And we have that support. This broke 530, and I think was getting close to 23,500, which should provide some support simply because it is the large number. Now, if I go back onto that hourly chart, where do we have price points? We have price points at 23,495. Okay, then we have fibs at 23,480. So, and then if that all breaks, our price points drop quickly because it was a strong rally followed by a strong rally here. So we don't have these price points where we're going, oh, there was a nice low. We can go stop there. Oh, there is a nice low. That would be the next level. That would be the next level on the way down that should halt this particular phase of a decline. And let me label it wave one so you can see how this is like really just caving. And you can see what happened when we break on the Qs. It slid and it slid and it slid and it continues to slide. What's holding it up right now? Apple. Apple pretty much all by itself, and then Tesla gains a little bit, and just other stocks put on, instead of being down 4, and NVIDIA is down 380. So, it's a lot of just a bunch of stuff. And so it's just going to float around. But I do think we have one more little leg down. We have a support of 480, and then we have it all the way down, all the way down. Yeah, let me just get down here. Yeah, 23,500 down to 23,480. If that holds, that'll complete this fifth wave, and I'll put the one there. If it breaks, we got a little bit of a black hole in here, and you can see it there because it was a straight decline. We'd probably find some at 23,380 as price support. And then 23,340 is a fib 2.618. And that is where wave 5 would be 2.618 times the length of wave 1. It's kind of up there in the common. So it's not on the list, but it's there and it can be real. Otherwise, I'm going to say that this low, now I'm thinking that we should break it, but it might hold. It might hold like at 23,500. So not break it by much. But I do think we have one more little leg down. If not, then the one goes here. You run your fib from the top of there down to wherever this bottoms, and then you're going to get your wave 2. And it will be an ABC. All right. Now, just looking at the hourly chart, let me just kind of hone in on this. See, we have where the 20 and the 8 are below the 200, and the 50 wants to get there. And once that happened, we're in the mode to go down on the hourly chart, which is going to have some weight. On the daily, we got the downturn coming, and the 8, we've broken clean the 8. We've actually broken the 20, came back above it. And now working our way to possibly go down and break it again, and that'll push us to that next low, which I think then we get a bounce. But on the daily, moving averages are not actually doing all that bad. I think they will if we continue to sell. But we're going to see what kind of happens here. All right, that's it. I'm going to get this posted. Our next update will be the daily.